This is Michael Jordan and the amount of times he played 82 games in a season. And here's AD. I know what you're thinking, it's AD, he's injured all the damn time. So here's LeBron, John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, and James Harden. Looks to me that older players played more games, but that's way too small of a sample size to really mean anything. So here are all the times NBA players played 82 games from the 2000 season to this current season. 637, not a shabby number at all, but here's the exact same thing from 1980 to 1998. 817. That's a bit odd. Over time, things should theoretically get better, meaning this number should be bigger, especially with advances in technology and medicine. So what's wrong here? Are the unks right? The NBA has become too soft? Overall, it's kinda so out of hand that retired player after retired player slams load management. But hey, at the very least, it keeps players healthy. They play more games in the long run, right? Well, here's another graph that shows how many players played 80 plus games, 70 through 79 game seasons, and 60 through 69 game seasons. The graph shows us that the 80s and 90s played far more 80 plus game seasons, or what I like to call Iron Man seasons. When you compare today's Iron Man seasons to the 80s and 90s, it's quite obvious. The NBA today struggles to have 20 players have Iron Man seasons in one singular year. Unlike the 80s and 90s, when having 80 players have Iron Man seasons seemed like a very low number. But the most glaring thing is a dramatic increase in 60 through 69 game seasons. In the 80s and 90s, it was struggling to even reach 50 players. But today, it's better than ever, hitting new peaks of 100 plus players. Essentially, when Iron Man season started to go down, 60 through 69 game seasons started to thrive. Teams traded away 80 plus seasons for 60 through 69 game seasons. Subjectively worse for us fans, but this graph alone doesn't directly mean that load management doesn't work, but this does. A 57-page research paper from the NBA themselves debunking load management, saying that there is zero correlation with load management and a decrease in injuries. Just look at Kawhi Leonard, he's the load management poster boy, and yet he still gets injured left and right. Begging the question, if load management has no apparent advantage, why do teams do it? Possible reasons could include tanking, players not wanting to play, and well, who knows. But what I do know, as repetitive as it sounds, back in the day, this wouldn't have happened. One counter to all this older players and organizations had pride was that they were taking steroids.
Today, NBA players go through 4 tests since 2004. We don't know what the 90s and the 80s players was doing because there was only one test. Okay. October 1st. So everyone got tested October 1st. That means October 2nd, if you wanted to inject into your ass,
you got a whole year to get out your system.
You got a whole year to do it wherever you want. So how are you not looking into the 90s or the 80s when they played all 82 games with no medical staff, no ankle injuries? These motherfuckers even catch flus. All of them with bald-headed by the age of 25.
Gil has a point, kinda. Here's a similar graph from before, but instead of every 5 years, it zoomed in a tad to get a better in-depth look into when the NBA started doing full random drug tests in 2004. As you can see, there was a slight dip in 2004 that somewhat recovers, but then falls again in 2012, meaning that's more than possible that players were taking steroids in the 80s and 90s, but not to the extent where Iron Man seasons fell off a cliff in 2004. I mean, there's no way John Stockton, who played 82 games 16 times, was on steroids. Look at the guy, no offense. My last rebuttal is that games just have a faster pace, which leads to a greater strain on the body. Not really sure how to quantify that, so it could possibly be a vital reason in why players play less Iron Man seasons, but I personally believe it's mostly the result of a shift in players and organizations' mindsets. We've established that load management is bad, but teams still do it, so what has the NBA done to fix this? Reducing the amount of back-to-backs by 23%, eliminating playing 4 games in 5 nights, and 8 games in 12 nights, and requiring players to play 65 games to receive any awards. However, after all those additions, games missed by load management only dropped by 10%. The NBA bended backwards for 10%. Insane. Despite that, we're on the right path, but there's still a huge gap to close. In the end, load management is not that great.